it's your girl Annette Harris of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. Now, don't get nervous, it's not Wednesday. But I am actually here to do a wonderful special on-site location segment here at Tilted Room Productions. With who, you may ask? Well, let me tell you, this hot, dynamic film writing duo, the McCords. I am here with them on today, and I'm so excited because we are going to talk to you about their wonderful project that's coming up, Exquisite Fractures Anthology Series. Joe, how are you on today?
I am awesome. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, wonderful. All right. And Brandie, how are you doing?
I am wonderful.
You look gorgeous, honey. Not that you don't,
No,
but
she does.
yes. Well, that's good. But you know what? I am so excited because you guys you're about to take off. This series is upcoming, and it is exciting.
Yes. Yes.
From what I've
Very
seen
much
so far. The advertisement, the promos, has just been on point, and we are so excited to see what is coming up. Now, I just want to actually talk to them today, just, kind of pick their brains a little bit. So I want you guys to stay with us, and hopefully any question that you may have will be answered on today. All right?
If
So
not,
let's get
type them
started.
in the comments.
What was that?
If not, type them in the comments.
There
Yes,
you
we'll
go.
definitely answer them later.
All right, that sounds good to me. All right, let's see here. My first question to you. This Exquisite Fractures Anthology Series, how did it come to be?
Well, one night I was thinking about doing my feature films.
Okay.
And I thought, well, I would love to do the feature films, but I wanted to try to start with something smaller first, build the craft, and what we need to do. And I wanted to relaunch my previous production company, which was Capture Motion. So I wanted to kind of just do like a full, fresh relaunch. So I was going through some old stories, and I found some of Brandie's as well. And so I approached her about it, and I said, hey, why don't we take these short stories and we can start just filming them and make a series on YouTube or something along that lines. And of course, she just jumped on it and just went crazy. And
Right.
I'll let her take it from there.
Joe has always wanted to show his films in a theater, but we were waiting for the feature-length films that he was doing. And he mentioned, I'd love to do it now. So that's all you have to say to me,
Right. Right.
At that point, that's when we started saying, you know what, that's going to be our goal for this year, is to show the films in a movie theater.
Wonderful.
So that's what we're doing right now, to get them seen by a larger group.
Oh.
We're going to be doing two films. One she wrote and then the other one I wrote. And we want to get the feedback from people that we love and know, trust, and see what they think.
Yes.
And see what type of audience we're actually going to be going after.
Okay. Now, you have two films. One written by you, Acquiesce, is that correct?
Yes.
And then the other one, Reflection,
Yes.
by Joe. How are these two films different?
Her storytelling is more on a thriller aspect. A lot of different layers.
Yeah.
And you're always wondering what's really going on. Mine has some of that, but it's more carnal. It's more aggressive.
That's good.
Dare I say, a little bit more violent.
Yeah.
But again, it's for a purpose.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
always for a purpose. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
My stories are very cerebral, very layered. More so than they first start out when I'm writing them. They always become a lot more layered. So they're very cerebral. You want to pay attention. Whereas they hit you, and his stories are a ride. They really are.
Okay.
Yeah.
A quick question. Why do you think your stories are layered? Is it because you think a lot? As you're writing, you just think and you continue to add?
I overthink, and sometimes the layers come from him. He's brought there's one layer he brought to a story in our last rehearsal. I was just in awe. I'm still in awe. And I was upset because I didn't bring that layer to my story. But it was a beautiful layer, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So sometimes situations are created, and then as we're collaborating, more layers are added. But I'm definitely an overthinker, yeah.
Well, an overthinker, but she doesn't give herself enough credit. Her material, sometimes she doesn't realize what she just wrote. Sometimes she doesn't realize what she just created, or the questions that she makes you ask, or wonder about, and I think, she just writes, and then you have to kind of bring that out. So, yes,
okay, I think we need to hurry up and wrap up this.
What's the next thing? What's the next question?
The next question. All right, so let me ask you this. What did each of you pull from your backgrounds to write such stories? So I don't know who wants to start first.
I will start.
Yes.
I'll start. I came from a background where my writing was definitely supported by my parents. Everything that I wrote, even the things that they didn't quite want to see me write, they supported, and I love them for it. They sent me to a school of the arts where one of my teachers took me under her wings and really cultivated my writing. The only problem was when she would enter me in contests, national writing contests, I would lose because they would think that my writing it couldn't have been written by a child or a teenager. Yeah, that was a blow because it threw me down for a little bit, but it gave me a taste for competing and being out there and sharing my work with other people. And what I learned as I did that is that being a young girl, there were only certain things that they wanted us to write about. There were only certain things they wanted us to kind of play it safe. They wanted everything to be kind of happy, or a story about your specific tragic upbringing and things like that. I didn't have those, but I did have stories in my head that I wanted to write that challenged our thought process, that made us uncomfortable, that made us look at situations that we didn't want to look at, that scared us. And those stories people didn't want to see me write as a little girl or as a young teen. They didn't want to see me write stories like that. So I would get challenged by judges and things like that. What if you change the story to this? Or what if you make the protagonist this or that? And I learned very early that stories that make you uncomfortable, you're not going to win I wasn't going to win a lot of competitions through stories that make people uncomfortable. But I loved the reaction. People were talking about my stories. They were thinking about my stories long after I was gone. And that to me became better than an award. I wanted those awards, but I also wanted to make people think, and I wanted to create art. Even at a young age, I knew I want to create art that people remember and that they talk about and they mean something and they start conversations. So I pretty much brought that from my early time writing to now.
Some lasting impressions is what I hear from you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Joe?
Well, for me, I'm opposite. I wrote more of as an escape, and I won't go into my details as far as my upbringing, but I like to go out into the woods by myself and just write. Bring my dog with me and just write. And it was more therapeutic. I didn't write to show it to people. There were a lot of stories I wrote when I was in my younger days that people never even saw. And it wasn't until I became older that I developed a love for film and started cultivating my writing. Kind of took a darker side, a more realistic side, and especially became more realistic when I moved from rural America to Joliet, Illinois, my freshman year of high school. I didn't know what a city looked like. I didn't know what tall buildings looked like, brick and mortar surroundings. And then I saw realism in life that I didn't know existed. I started becoming more streetwise. And it was just I traded one forest for another, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So definitely my story started taking a more natural or more darker turn, even more because of that. So
I must say I'm impressed with the both of you in the sense that this was something that you started when you were younger.
Yes.
and it has continued.
Yes.
Sometimes people, they may love to read, or they may love to write, when they're young, and how you said your parents, help to, facilitate that. But sometimes it drops off.
Yes.
Yes. So that's what I'm impressed with the both of you. And then I'm thinking too, you were, way over there, and you were way over there,
Yeah.
but you were doing the same thing.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's just,
yes.
that blows
awesome.
my mind. It
That's
really
awesome.
does. I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you for putting that together. I like that.
Yeah. Well, this little psychology
Yes.
nerdy mind is always thinking.
Yes. I love it.
I have another question for you. Okay, now in terms of your films, how would you characterize them? And why do you feel they are important for people to see? Joe, why don't you take this one first?
Characterizing the films is a little tough because the stories can be thrillers. They can have more of a horror aspect to them. They could have some dark comedy and so forth. So we're not necessarily writing for a certain genre. And we're not writing, or I guess I could speak for me personally. I'm not making a film or making films or making stories for other people.
Okay.
I want the feedback.
Yes, that's really good.
I want the feedback. But if that feedback is, well, I just don't like that type of story, okay, it's not for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for more, well, this didn't make sense, or that didn't make sense, that type of thing. Even then, not all the stories are written to where it has a nice little bow on it and you're going to understand everything.
Yeah.
There's some thinking involved.
Yeah.
And you either get it or you don't get it. And her stories, though, are extremely layered. They're extremely complicated, which I love. I love that. Mine they have some layers, but they're more carnal.
Okay.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they are.
They're more
horror.
Well, a little bit more aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we've noticed when we're picking our stories. Like, she's like, I'm going to do this one, and it has this kind of Hitchcock feel to it.
Yeah.
Which I love Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Where I go a little bit darker.
Yeah.
And more of the Orson Welles side, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Ooh, now that sounds scary. But you know what I heard though when I first asked you how to characterize your films? You just said a few seconds ago, I did not write these films for people.
Right.
Not one story.
Did you hear what you said before though when you were writing when you were younger? You didn't write it for anybody.
No.
So that's still carrying with you.
That's still, I guess you're right.
That's
I
why
didn't
they're
think about
so
that.
good though.
Yes.
Well, I heard it a lot from writers that I like and film directors that I like is that if you are never going to be 100% happy with your story, you're never going to be 100% happy with your film. Many directors will actually go into a depression because they'll see edit after edit after edit and just say, it's still, I'm not seeing everything that I wanted to see. But at this point, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to kind of avoid that if possible. So, but if you're writing it for yourself, you're just happy that you were able to express your art in some way.
There you go.
And if you just hold on to that, you'll be okay.
Love it.
We cannot categorize.
Okay.
I think the only thing that they do have in common is they're unflinching in our depiction of these people. There are people, some of these characters we don't like. We don't like them. We don't understand them fully. And I think that's what makes most of the story so intriguing. So we are kind of taking the brakes off and just writing the stories as they flow. That's the beauty of when we never thought that we were going to be writing these stories, honestly, with all the stories that we have, and we've got a good
2025 that are ready to go.
But we have hundreds.
Wow.
But we never wrote these stories thinking anybody else is going to see them. So we were able, him.
No. I agree with you on that.
Yeah. And that's what leaves us so free to write the thing. You know what I mean? So I think they're unflinching. The story is the story, and you have a conversation about it, So we can't categorize them. There's no agenda to any of our stories. They're just pure fiction.
but they do have a commonality, and one of that is when you watch them, we're trying to make the audience say, think about their initial reaction to certain things.
Yes.
Because that initial reaction tells you a lot about yourself.
Yes.
And who you are.
Yes.
And again, if you're easily offended, then these films aren't really for you. And that's something else too. And because she did touch on something, a lot of these stories for me were written before I became more spiritual.
Okay.
Now, I'm still going to write those type of stories. I'm not adjusting because of that. But when I reread them, I was like, wow, I was in a very dark place at this time.
Wow.
But
it was the reality.
It was the reality of my situation.
Yeah.
And so again, I didn't change it just because, I'm saved.
Right. There you go.
Because again, it's reality. It's life. And
the story is the story.
Right, and you learn a lot about yourself when you react to certain things.
True.
And one thing her and I would watch certain films that other people wouldn't watch, only because, and not that we like gratuitous gore or anything like that. We're not into that. Just some dark subject matter that most people don't want to expose themselves to. Because they're afraid they're going to change or turn a certain way, or suddenly I'm going to become this demonic spirit because I watched this film. If you were that weak going into me personally, then that demonic spirit was already there.
Ooh, see?
So.
Whoa, he just touched on something. My goodness. Did you need your Bible? You want to take a text? You know what I would like to do? I'd actually like to segue into another question. Brandie, this one is for you. Don't be nervous. Now listen, I know that many times a screenwriter's original version or vision can be completely different than the final product. With that in mind, how do you handle any conflicts, if there are any, concerning the scenes that you originally write out and what the final product actually is? How do you handle those conflicts?
Well, one way that I had to train myself, I had to remember that when we are on set, he is the director. He's not Joe. He's not sweetie, honey, baby. He is the director and the producer. So when I bring something to him and he says, this is not going to work, this won't work, or can you rethink that? Instead of getting immediately offended and no, this is my work, take into account that his professional, that this is his professional direction or opinion. So I've learned to trust him, and I listen to him, and I take his advice. I did have one issue where I really had to just kind of, my vision was just, it was garbage, and I had to take, he was, it was garbage. And it was garbage. He wasn't gonna he wasn't gonna pet me with that one. It was no, you cannot do it. And it was when I wanted to, my film has language in it. It's not gratuitous, but there's some language in there, needfully so. But what I wanted to do, because, I am a Christian, I do have a mom and kids and sons, not kids anymore. But I didn't want that language. The language was needed in the scene, so I wanted it there. But I asked Joe, because I was struggling with it, and I didn't want my pastor and people in my church to hear this language. And I asked Joe, I said, well, can we put it in there? But then can you blur out their mouth and then bleep it out? That way we can still have the impact. He said, are you crazy? No, we will not do that.
Yes.
He said, we'll absolutely not do that. If that language is needed, if that word is needed, then we're going to shoot it as is. And he was done with the conversation. Instead of petting me and, well, maybe we could try that. Because he does do that a lot of times. We'll shoot it both ways. That's code for...
No, it's not. No,
we'll shoot it. We're not going to keep that one.
Different.
Yeah, right.
Because when you're in the editing process, you want more to work with anyway.
Yes.
And sometimes a film is actually directed in the editing room.
Ah,
You know, a
that's
lot of
good
people,
point.
Yes.
editors don't get enough credit
Yes.
for a
Yes.
film.
Okay.
Personally, me, I look at them as the quiet director.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, because they're piecing all this stuff together. Yeah, the director is usually where the more, gets that feedback, but they basically are creating that film.
And they know they have the vision to see when something's going to look right on screen and when it's not. As opposed to me writing, this is how the story went, you're going to put it in there. No.
Right.
That's not going to translate well on film. And I had to learn to trust him. And that's been a process, but he's proven himself every time. So it becomes easier and easier every time.
Well, she's learned that again, no gratuitous violence or profanity, but it's always there to drive the story forward.
Yes.
It's always there to give you more insights into who that character really is.
Right.
And you can't do that by going, oh, shucks darn.
Right.
It doesn't fit.
No.
So.
Get to the heart of the matter and
It's a process, yeah.
Okay, well that's good. I'm glad you were able to work through that.
Yes. So am I. So am I.
Well, good. That's good stuff there. Let me ask you this. What do you think will surprise your viewers once they see these films?
I think they're going to be surprised by the fact that there are no agendas. None of these stories are supported by an agenda. Now, Joe and I, anyone who knows us, they know that we have agendas. We have issues, global issues. We have societal issues, things that we really, really care about, and we want to make changes. None of those things are in any of these stories. So I think it'll surprise people to see that there's not overt Christianity, overt Black power, but there's nothing pointing to any of our agendas that we care about quite a bit. These are just raw, pure storytelling. Okay. And it's beautiful. It's brutal, but it's beautiful in the fact that they're pure stories. We've let nothing, even my nervousness about, certain things in my stories come into light. But even at the fact that we know we're going to offend. We know we're going to offend. That's a given. But we had to get comfortable with that. They're meant to offend. They're meant to make you think and things like that. So I think that that's a beautiful thing. But people are going to definitely be surprised by how straightforward. I don't want to say brutality. That's the wrong word. Very unapologetic. And we still are. If you're offended or if this story makes you feel a certain way, it was meant to. Okay. So I think people are going to be surprised by that. But we're nice people.
Yes, you are.
We're nice people, and we're still, remember, when you get through seeing our films, we're still nice people.
We are.
We'll watch these stories.
I'm going to throw another question at you.
Okay.
All right? Hopefully you can catch this one. What do you think will surprise you both about your viewers' response?
I guess that's what I'm looking forward to. And one thing about the movies, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier or not, is it kind of makes you think about who you are. Again, based on your reaction to certain things. So some people are going to be kind of quiet, I believe.
That's what I'm expecting.
Like, ooh, I felt a certain way there and I shouldn't have, but I don't want to say anything.
Okay.
I may have rooted for the character doing something that I shouldn't have been rooting for them to do.
Right.
So I guess I don't know what the reaction is going to be, but I'm looking forward to some raw honesty, hopefully.
Okay.
From the audience.
I will be surprised if we get all positive feedback.
Okay.
I'm really expecting, because films, we've been trained and brought up on films that give us the visual, tell us what to think at every turn. You get the scary music, so you know something scary is going on. You get the sad music, so you know what she just said was sad, even if you didn't quite catch it. You get the music, the exhilarating music at the end, letting you know, oh, the happy ending's coming. We have none of that, but we've been trained on that. So I would be surprised that there's no kind of, I don't want to say backlash. I'm not expecting backlash, but I'm expecting people to not appreciate that we didn't give them what we've been fed on and that we've given them the total opposite. We're forcing you to, how do you feel about this? We're not going to tell you what to feel. So I think that I expect to get some pushback on that. But if not, at the very least, I do expect to be asked about that. So I'd be surprised if everyone's just like, great films, no, no feedback whatsoever. That would surprise me.
Okay.
Because I want some feedback. You better tell me something.
Go out and come in again. Look at it again.
Watch it again.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you that. Just
That's a
in
good
case there
question,
were
though.
any surprises.
That's a really good question.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Who should not come to see these films?
People who are easily offended.
Okay.
If
Bingo.
you don't like rated R films, don't come to the film.
Bingo.
And that's really it. I mean, these are not kid films, so. And again, if you don't like films that are wrapped up in a nice little bow,
Yeah.
we're not going to feed you exposition about what's going on. You have to think. So,
Okay.
Yeah. No children.
no.
These aren't kid friendly. No, these are absolutely not kid friendly. These are all not adult films. These are films for adults.
Films for adults. There is a difference.
Yeah. But if you want to go, if you want to think, if you want to be challenged, if you want to have your ideals challenged, if you want to be maybe surprised about yourself, if you want to have some stimulating conversations afterwards, come see these films.
Okay.
These films are for you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right, I am gearing up, getting ready for this red carpet event.
Yes.
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 Can
That's
you
going to be
tell
a
us
night.
a little bit about
Oh, yes. I'd love to. You'd think I'd be tired of talking about this at this point. The Exquisite Fracture Red Carpet Screening event is going to be on November the 4th. We've got a packed house. The films are going to be premiering at the historic Hollywood Boulevard Cinema in Woodridge, Illinois. So you're going to, about the night, it's red carpet themed, not red carpet themed, this is red carpet for real. So This is, you're not gonna see the plastic, no, this is real red carpet. So come dressed to impress, please, gowns, suits, that type of thing. This will be the night to do it, really do it up. We arrive, we check our guests in, we give you your gift baskets. VIPs, if you're a VIP, you're going to have your own concierge, kind of just walking you through to everything that you have coming to you. Then we're going to take some red carpet pictures, videos, interviews, things like that. What are you wearing today? That type of thing. It's going to be so obnoxious. Then we're going to, it is bougie. It's going to be so bougie. Then we're going to go sit down and we're going to look at our Exquisite Fracture menu. Everyone will get an Exquisite Fracture menu made specifically for this event. Choose your food, and while the films are playing, you're actually going to have the food brought to you. So all you have to do is just sit down, relax, and enjoy these films. After the films, we have the Q&A session, which I'm going to let Joe take over and talk about.
The Q&A session gives everyone the opportunity. We will have folders handed out to everybody who attends, because in those folders are items for you, but also a survey for hard feedback on films. But what the Q&A does is gives you an opportunity to ask questions, because maybe you want to write something down, you want to respond, but you have a question about something, or you're just interested in the whole process. So we open up the floor for that with the cast and crew and us sitting there, and you can ask us anything you want. We do have remote tickets, remote access.
Yes.
So even the remote access people will be able to put in their questions as well. Time is limited. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to every question.
Okay.
But if we still want people to put their questions in, and if we can't get to their questions, they can write them down. Later on, Brandie and I will do a video addressing every single one of those questions.
Every single one.
Because all those questions are going to be important to us.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So I heard you say something about remote tickets.
Yes.
Is everything else
Sold
out?
Everything's sold out.
Oh my goodness.
They sold out very early. All of our tickets sold out very early.
I was in shock.
Yeah, we were kind of. We woke
Thank
up.
you.
Right, exactly.
Thank you for snagging those tickets. But yeah, all VIP tickets and general admission tickets are gone. We do have remote access tickets. And what those are is it's a ticket that allows you to view the evening, to experience the evening from your living room. So you'll be getting everything but the gift basket and the food. Obviously, you can't get that. But you will be able to see behind the scenes. You'll be able to see guest check-in if you want to peer in. Now, nobody makes you watch the whole thing, but if you want to peer in and see the on red carpet interviews, the behind the scenes, see the guests milling about taking their pictures, that type of thing. See Joe and I are on the red carpet taking pictures with our guests.
Yes.
That's going to be filmed. Then you all will be shown the films. Well, you all will be shown the films at the same time that our guests are going to be shown the films. And then you'll actually be plugged into the Q&A session at the end. So we want your questions as well. We'll answer your questions real time, provided that we do have time to answer them, but either we'll answer them on camera or we will answer them later on. And those tickets are unlimited, so we can have as many people that want to purchase those. If you're out of town or, things like that. We've had a lot of out of towners purchase those tickets. So that's a way to include as many people as possible.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, with you selling out of tickets, that tells you how popular you are.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited though. I'm excited about one aspect.
What's that?
Of this is that I get to see Annette as our host.
Host for the evening.
Host for the evening.
Yeah. You guys were so nervous when we were asking her.
Yes.
We tried to give her every out just not to hurt our feelings and tell us no, she did not do it. But she is going to be our beautiful, not minister?
MC.
But what's
mistress?
She's going to be our beautiful mistress of ceremonies for the evening. I can't wait to see her in her gown and on the red carpet interview. She's really going to do it up. So Thank you so for saying yes to us, because we were really nervous about that.
Oh.
And it wasn't going to be right if it wasn't going to be right. Mm-hmm. You're like, it wasn't going to be right.
They make me feel so good, but I am honored. I really am honored.
Thank you so much. It's going to be a great night.
I can't wait. I honestly cannot wait. Now, I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If you have not heard about this event, if you have not heard about what the McCords are doing, I don't know where you've been. But with all the buzz surrounding this wonderful event, I want to ask the both of you, you're going to have companies, you're going to have individuals who may want to partner with you, or they may be interested in advertising, because that all comes in this package. Do you have opportunities available?
Absolutely.
If so, tell us what.
We have advertising packages. Now, partnering with us, that's going to be the next event, because we want to make sure that anybody that does that gets the bang for their buck. But we do have advertising packages, and they are amazing. We have something for every budget. They start at $50 and go all the way up. So, well, not all the way up, but $50 and they go up. But they include everything from putting your business card in every gift basket, so everybody has your information, to putting you on your ad on the programs that go out, to playing your commercial on the big screen in front of everybody. Now, where are you going to get another opportunity like that?
Tell me.
You're not. Do it. So we've got packages for everybody. Even if you can't make it, we are going to send you video proof, photo proof that your ad was shown on, or whatever package you chose, that actually happened. So it's a great opportunity, because our audience looks like a curated list of who's who and individuals. We've got people in the medical field. We've got people party planning, education. We've got some government people as well. That's all I'm saying on that. But we got some of everybody in this audience.
Wonderful.
So it's an unprecedented opportunity to get your ad. This is money well spent. It really is. It's a great opportunity to get your ad in front of real people, excited people.
Yes.
But people who, it's a captive audience.
There you go.
And they're very limited, because we are captive. So we can't play 10, 20 different commercials before the film starts. We just cannot. So if that is something that you're interested in, go to exquisitefractures.com. We got all the packages listed there.
All right. And then also, when you go to that website, again, if you're interested in the remote access, you can click on tickets to get the tickets for that. McCords, I thank you both so much.
We thank you. Thank you for coming out. We really do appreciate it.
Of course. This has been great. Just to have a sit down.
Yeah. We always enjoy it. We always enjoy time with you.
Yes, definitely.
It was nice.
All right, wonderful. Well, guys, this has been another wonderful session of Mind, Body, and Soul on site, special location here at Tilted Room Productions. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. Take care.